Here I am out in the orchard cabin, just taking a look at it, little orchard walk, and trees are doing well. Some apple trees are loaded. See, there's the Fuji. And if you noticed the last video I put up with mowing the lawn, notice that most of the tall grass has been knocked down. This real fine stuff here. Some of it, of course, doesn't get mowed because it gets packed down by the mower wheels. So I do have a little bit, but notice how everything else is. We got some sorrel and some other broadleafs. This is the sorrel. The deer really like that. There's some clover in here. Lots of broadleafs that are popping up now that the grass has been knocked down. So the deer will eat almost any broadleaf plant. So it gives them some food when I knock the grass down. But we've got a good set of Fujis this year. And the trees are going pretty good. I've seen very few aphids this year. In fact, we haven't sprayed now in 3 weeks because I'm not seeing a lot of damage. Leaves look clean. The deer are keeping all the leaves nipped off on the lower branches, and that's okay. That's expected. So, and they knock apples off that are on these lower branches too. They don't really eat the apples right now, they're too bitter, but they like the leaves. This honeycrisp tree is doing well. I don't know what this, something, I don't know if that was a borer or if I could have a possum climbing up the tree too. They break off spurs. So, some of the smaller trees, this is a honeycrisp, and it's got some damage, insect damage. Some of the trees that were full last year are a lot lighter this year. Check anything out. This might have been a leaf roller. No, just a dead leaf. This tree over here, the Richelieu, will be my first to have ripe apples. They're growing pretty fast right now, and even if I don't thin this tree too much, it still has large apples. So I've pruned off, what is that? Just a dead blossom. I've pulled off most of the bad apples. There may be a few with still some bug bites on them or something. Wow, that is, look how tight those are. 6 of them in a group. If they had a spot on them, I could take one off. Usually I thin them, like this bundle. I got some russeting on some of these apples, probably caused by early frost damage. I put a big fence back around this tree. Let me pull that out a little bit. And I'm tucking the branches in behind it so the deer can't knock all the apples off. So I've got about a 20-foot diameter fence around the tree. This tree has weak wood, meaning the branches aren't real strong, and they tend to bend down under any weight at all. And it's a very spreading tree because of that. So it's been really hard to keep it up at a decent height So I guess I'm just going to have to put a fence around it, because I don't think it's going to get much taller. If I want any apples off this Richelieu, that's what I'm going to have to do. And the Richelieu is, it reminds me of a Macintosh, soft flesh, although it's a thinner skin if I remember. Good tasting apple. Very shiny red. When you buff it up, you can literally see yourself in the apple. So the deer orchard is looking fine. This is a Honeycrisp tree, but I used to get, when there's a fence around here, I get like 15 apples off this branch. Now it's the deer's branch. Most of my apples will come from the 2 Fuji trees here. Now we have a McCowan here, which this year is a sporadic set. Some real heavy spots, and then some very thin branches. Pardon me while I thin out a clump here. Those are just way too tight. McCowan have short stems, and if they got a big bunch of apples all in one spot, they're gonna knock each other off the tree. So I do need to thin the clumps. Over here is a red court. It doesn't set as heavy as a Cortland, but it's a redder strain. I'm not really happy with it in the orchard. It doesn't seem to produce too much. My Wolf River, look how big this tree is. Good 15 foot wide. Wolf Rivers tend to be a spreading tree, and this is its first crop. So they should be very large apples. Although with a tree in its first crop, who knows? So I'm happy with the orchard. It's going to give me some fruit. It's going to attract the deer. I'm thinking of spraying and killing the lawn here and putting in clover and turnips next year. Make this actually a food plot. Over here is the Rome. It's called a spurry Rome. I don't know how spurry it is, but we got some apples this year. This is the tree that was girded on the bottom. I'm using this wire fencing now. It's got 1/4 inch squares, and it keeps the voles out, and I don't have to replace it. The vinyl wrap would keep the voles out. The problem is you have to remove it every summer, or you get ants and moths and stuff that take up residence inside of it and then are harmful to the tree. So I put that wire fencing on there, and the wire fencing can stay. It also protects the tree from weed whackers. Yeah, a lot of pictures. Ready to go for a ride in the cart?
Yeah.
Okay, we're taking a ride around today.